They did install an update. Morning, I'd like to call the Management and Internal Services Committee to order on this July 11th, 2017. Please pray with me. Gracious Heavenly Father, again we come before you, thanking you for this beautiful day and asking you to provide protection for those who are out serving and protecting us, the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, those downrange with armed services. Lord, we just ask that you would command a legion of angels to surround them, protect them, bless their families. I pray now that you be with us during this meeting, wisdom and decisions. Everything we do, glorify thee. In Christ's name, amen. Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. We have a full quorum. Gentlemen, you got the minutes from the previous meeting of June 13th in your package. If they approval, I'll accept a motion to do so.
So moved. Second.
Moved. Anything in the agenda need to change? Are we?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, we'll go straight to new business, and we have a grant. Who's going to take this?
I'll take that, Mr. Chairman. First item we have for you is the Juvenile Justice Incentive Grant. This is by the CJCC, the amount of $118,000. This is a grant that we get annually. It is a reimbursement-based grant distributed on a quarterly basis. Staff will recommend acceptance and approval.
Second.
So moved.
Next item we have for you is our United Concordia Dental Product Renewal, for 2018. You'll see that there is an increase over 2017. This is mostly due to the utilization of the plan and the higher loss ratios. Our staff did an outstanding job, I believe, in negotiating this. Elizabeth McBurney heads up this for us, and also Marcia Lowry oversees this program. You'll see that the new premiums are there, and you can see that the increase to the county is anticipated to be $35,194 annually, and that's with the 2,500 people that we have covered in that particular plan. Staff will recommend approval of the new contract. Letter of agreement is attached for the chairman's signature. Approved.
For consent. Second.
I want to compliment Marcia and Elizabeth. I know that negotiating health insurance can be a real pain in the rear end these days with everything that's going on nationally. So congratulations, and that's a good job. So moved.
The very next one is actually the actual health insurance itself, which is even tougher than the dental.
Right.
And again, our staff did an outstanding job with that. I think you'll see that there's an increase of 3.4% from the administrative services rates, but that is just for the administrative piece only. You'll see that the individual stop loss and aggregate stop loss for each of the employees is included here. The administrative rate was $90.76 per employee per month, and proposed rate is $93.86 per employee per month. So that increase is approximately $3,044. Staff recommend renewing the medical contract with United Healthcare for 2018, and also authorize the chairman to execute that document.
Move to consent. Second.
So moved. Again, good job.
The staff gets the credit for that. They did a great
Well,
job.
I wasn't talking to you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Next item we have is an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement between the county and both cities. This was an item that we found to have an error in one of the documents. It has to do with the distribution amounts based on the countywide projects in the 17 to 22 SPLOST. In paragraph 7 on the document that we executed with the two cities, the amount was $59,865,280. The correct amount was $57,665,280. That correct amount was in the exhibit. We have been paying based on that amount, and had we been paying the $59 million that was agreed to by the cities would be receiving less money. So in conversations with the mayor, they're very excited that we're going to amend this agreement and make sure they get the right amount of money. We have been paying them correctly. So this is just an amendment to that agreement to make it, get the records right, and staff will recommend approval of the amendment to the agreement.
Move for consent. Second.
So moved. Kennedy?
Sure, the next item is an agreement, it's a renewal of a five-year contract with the Corps of Engineers for a VHF repeater at the Strom Thurmond Tower. That's oftentimes used by the dive team when they're doing operations up there. The $500 fee, license fee, Andy Leanza told me yesterday that
Move to consent. Second.
So moved. Reese?
The first item I have is an amendment to the intergovernmental agreement between Fleet Services and the City of Harlem. We currently have an agreement to perform maintenance on their vehicles. They would like to add maintenance and management of their generators and heavy equipment. So this amendment will allow that to occur.
Move for consent. Second.
We can do it with current staff. We don't have to add.
Correct.
So moved.
The next item is the Rural Transportation Program Award with the Georgia Department of Transportation for fiscal year 2018. There are two pieces to this award. One is an operating piece, one is a capital piece. The operating piece is the same amount as we received last year. This year we do have a capital piece that was not included last year for 3 new transit vans. And as part of that funding, we are required to provide a 10% local match, which we have budgeted for this next year to receive these vehicles. Now, before the Georgia Department of Transportation will issue a contract, they do require that we go ahead and send them this 10% local match. So staff recommends approval of the contract with authorization to submit payment in the amount of $13,640.69, which is our 10% portion. And we would also like authorization for the chairman to sign the final contract once it's received.
Move to consent. Second.
So moved.
The next item I have is the fiscal year 2018 Coordinated Transportation Contract. This is through the CSRA Regional Commission, where we actually provide transportation for adult citizens with special needs and also some of the seniors to and from our senior center. Funding is contingent upon receipt of funds through the State Department of Human Services Division of Aging Services. Right now, they have awarded an amount of $40,722.76. This may be increased or decreased throughout the year depending on state funding. Typically, we end up receiving more than what the original award is for. So staff recommends approval of this contract with authorization for the chairman to sign it.
You're going back and forth. Do we take them and drop them and come back and
Bid 'em.
go back?
Do we, Jeff? Yes.
Move for consent. Second.
So moved. Legal matters? Good Lord. Staff reports.
First item we have, just for your information, is our general fund savings for FY 16-17. As you know, we budget $350,000 to try to meet that goal. You can see that that was well exceeded last year with a total savings of $589,067. That's through really all of our personnel savings, but our hiring delays, reviewing positions, moving positions around. Staff gets a really good pat on the back for saving that amount of money. That was budgeted money that goes right back into the general fund savings. And then the next item you have, you can see so far this year, we're on the same pace. We budgeted $350,000 again, and already to date, we're at almost $20,000, $19,040 so far in personnel savings.
Not bad for 11 days.
Question, like on the tax commissioner, 46,000, is that a position that's going to be filled, or is it? That's
Go back and look at the one, how about the second staff report or the first one?
first one. The savings for last year.
So if you look at looking at the total amount, we find the tax commissioner.
A couple of these are pretty big numbers, and my question is, are we gonna fill the positions, or are we just gonna carry them forward and?
I think this, Marcia may have to help me with this, but we're showing the position there, but some of these are cumulative totals, are they not? So it was multiple positions through the year, and there may be one there that's currently open. But that's not necessarily savings for that particular position for the whole year, if that makes sense. It is for the tax commissioner's office. That 46,000 is what they saved the entire year, not necessarily what they saved on a manager 3 for the entire year.
Okay, I was looking at that as a manager.
Scott, I also believe that particular position is one that in the budget they have reclassified for the new year. So it will not be filled because in the new budget they reclassified and restructured some of their positions. And I think that manager was one of them.
Yep.
Thank you.
Reese?
The first report I have for you is the year-to-date budget report, and this is through the month of June, so the end of the fiscal year. Staff is currently working on all of the year-end adjustments, getting ready for the audit. So at the next meeting, we should have better final numbers for you. You will see how the departments, some of the major funds are operating at this time, but on the revenue side especially, there are some timing issues, like with 911, for example. We're always a month behind receiving revenues for that fund. So next month, we will have cleaner final numbers.
Questions?
The next report is the SPOS update, and is a little better than it's been the past months. We have received funding through the month of May. The May check was just over $1.7 million, and collections for the last 12 months have been at an annualized percentage of 2.57%.
The last month was almost 8%. That's what I look at, the comp months.
Right.
Year over year, so
It was much better than
that's
previous.
8% we'd take every month, wouldn't we? Great.
We'll also point out on that particular item that for SPOS, for the upcoming SPOS 1722, our Tier 1 projects were based on $1.5 million a month.
Right.
Tier 2 was based on 1.75, so we're getting close to that number where we could do all of our Tier 2 projects if we keep up this same pace.
Very good.
And my final report is the investment report, just for your information.
Questions?
None.
Yeah, commissioners or public comments? Scott, I just have one thing, just a question. I think you've already been quoted in the paper, but I know that Richmond County's had an issue with equipment and people leaving the county, blown up a little bit. We have the right policies and procedures in place to prevent that, correct? That does not happen in Columbia County, correct?
Actually, it does not. We have been very careful about doing work on private property, so much so that we've actually kind of been scrutinized for not doing it from time to time. We have a policy in place that regards the use of county equipment, personnel, any materials that the county may own. There's a process that you have to go through if a citizen even wanted to request that, or if an employee wanted to request that. They have to do that through the division director. It has to be approved or denied. Then it comes to me. It has to be approved or denied. It has to come to committee and to commission. So there's 4 steps in that process. To my knowledge, I've never gotten, I don't remember ever getting a request. And I think that's probably because if we ever got one, it was denied by the division director before it ever got to me. But I would dare to say that I would probably deny it based on my knowledge of the state law. I would deny it before it ever got any further. Well, but we do have a good policy in place. We have a form that you have to fill out, and I feel like it's sufficient.
No executive session? Stand adjourned.
What happened?
What's that?
Was.
Development Engineering Services Committee meeting for July the 11th. Having already had the invocation and pledge. Got a quorum. Approval from previous minutes. Second. The agenda, any additions or deletions?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman, I think we're good.
No consent. Right on into new business. First item.
Thank you, sir. First one we have for you is the countywide elevator maintenance repair service. Staff did put this out to bid. We did receive 3 bids. Procurement office and staff has evaluated and determined that Otis Elevator Company was the most responsive bidder. Staff is recommending entering into contract for $22,800 for the year. We're making quarterly payments this time. In the past, we've paid the whole year up front. We're going to do quarterly payments instead this year. Staff is recommending approval.
Consent.
Second.
So moved.
Well, Mr. X is going to step in for Mr. Castleday and items for him.
All right. First item I have is item I2B1, is a public hearing to consider the abandonment of a portion of Marie Street. At this time, I guess we will open up the floor for any public comment on this issue. Please step forward and state your name. Yes, ma'am.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Dana Calloway, and I am representing Dermatology Specialists of Augusta and Paws Holding LLC. And should Columbia County choose to abandon some or all of Marie Street, we are interested in purchasing at least the section that borders our property at 1203 Town Park Lane. And depending on final valuation, would possibly be interested in purchasing the entire abandoned road. Thank you.
I think the procedure is if it's abandoned, that
That's correct. It is offered up first to the adjoining property owners. Mr. Custer here, he's our right-of-way manager. I'm going to let him actually explain the procedure that we go through to go through that process so that, one, they can get FaceTime with Mark and it is.
Yep. Morning.
Yes, we are in the process of letters to the property owners. Have a calculated fair market valuation. Look at the plat, look at dividing portions of that. Offers.
So we could break it up into each section
We do have a plat.
adjoins
We
each.
do have a plat to where we're starting and probably cul-de-sac right there. Square footage will be our length or we
Okay.
It could be evenly divided up so that adjoining property owners get their fair share. Maybe the center line of the right-of-way that's abandoned is the line, and then side property lines is, that's something we can definitely work with the adjoining property owners that show interest in wanting to buy.
Right.
I don't believe there's anything that we own. I believe there's some AT&Ts. Well, all that'll be part of the final plat that's done. Everything will be documented on that plat, so it'll all be very clear.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else like to speak in the public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Next item is item I2B2, Resolution 17-037 regarding the abandonment of a portion of Marie Street. We have held their public hearing, and at this time, staff recommends that the commission adopt Resolution 17-037 to abandon a portion of Marie Street.
Move to consent.
Second. So moved.
Next item is item I2B3, speed hump installation on Collins Drive. Collins Drive is a county road, the posted speed limit 25 mile per hour, and it has a average daily traffic volume of 609 vehicles a day, which is well over the minimum requirement of 255 vehicles, and also the 85th percentile speed of 35 mile per hour is meets the warrant for 10 miles per hour over the posted. What we have, it meets the warrants basically for the speed humps. There's 9 total speed humps at a total cost of $13,500, and staff recommends installation of the speed humps on Collins Drive. Funding is available in the speed hump budget.
Move to consent.
Second. So moved.
Okay, next item is item I2B4. This is 2016 LMIG change order number 1. In this LMIG, we made some changes to a couple of the roads. We shortened them up, and we thought we were going to have a savings of $100,000, but at the same time, we started looking at the crosswalks in the town center area down here on Ronald Reagan, and we discussed it and decided that we needed to put probably some more out there to make it look really good. So we added those in. And then at the same time, on Clark's Point, which is another project in this LMIG, we had a cost overrun on some of the grading to correct some of the new asphalt, raised edge asphalt that we needed to put in. So we ended up having going over $86,810.79. So staff is recommending approval of the change order in that amount to Reese Construction Company.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved, but I appreciate y'all doing that out there with the crosswalks. It makes it look a lot nicer and uniform and all.
Great. Okay, next item is I2B5. This is for new signal software and hardware for 3 intersections. As you're aware, the county is using the Rhythm software system in our signals. It has the ability to operate both corridor and isolated intersection modes. What staff found is that Rhythm system is really truly designed for corridor more so than isolated, and that in isolated intersection mode it does have some small flaws in it. And so researched, we asked other municipalities maybe some systems that they were using, and staff decided to go with the McCain hardware with the OmniX software. And so traffic engineering is proposing to implement this system in the 3 intersections at a total cost of $88,184.81. Staff's recommending approval to purchase this software and hardware.
You have this and the Rhythm, or are you replacing the Rhythm?
No, sir, it'll be both.
Okay, so this is for the on-main corridors, whatever you call it.
Yep, as we grow out, outside the urbanized area, we're going to have more of these isolated. Be a lot less staff time to be able to maintain and operate.
Rhythm software is based on, have a lot of signals together, those platoons cars stay together. It's signals that are really isolated, spread out, your platoon degrades, are spread out, and the Rhythm system just can't that input. This will isolate those individual signals. So Chamberlain, Greenfield, Baker Place, and Columbia. 3 heavily traveled intersections, isolated. We'll be able to control that intersection a lot better using this software. Find it works well. We've checked other municipalities and found they're getting good results out of this as well. Works well. There might be some chance to expand to other isolated intersections.
I know we can do probably the same thing that we do with the Rhythm as far as monitoring and changing and all of.
Right.
Right.
And this software and hardware can be moved around too. Find better places for it. It's global. So.
Move for consent.
Second.
So move.
Okay, next item is I2B6, which is proposed Harlan Middle School zone flashers. The new Harlan Middle School is scheduled to open in August the 7th, 2017. And traffic engineering is ready to request speed reduction to 35 mile per hour. I believe it's currently at 55. Yes, it is 55. During school times, and also to install school zone flashers at a cost of $8,481.50. Staff recommends approval to execute the permit application for approval and to proceed with installation of the school zone flashers.
Yeah.
Second. So moved.
The next item is I2B7, and this is an exciting project. It's a new alignment coming up in Columbia County. Hopefully there'll be more. This is the Gateway Boulevard extension for the engineering and design services. We put together a request for professional services, and we sent them out to 5 firms, mainly firms with a local presence in the area, so we could get good feedback and good response. And so of the 5, 4 responded, and reviewed all the proposals carefully. The criteria was outlined in the proposal package, as well as cost, and be able to meet the schedule that we outlined in the package. And we reviewed it real closely, and there's a new firm, Goodwin Mill in Capewood. They're very hungry, got a lot of availability, and they want to do some good work for us. And we felt like, of all the firms with the total package, that GMC is the best firm to deliver the project by the deadline, and a total fee of $292,500. So,
First time you used them?
yes, sir, it will be.
First time we used the company, they've just acquired a local engineer, Kyle Titus, who was with Cranston, and Kyle's done several projects for us. Kyle's part of the team, so we do have familiarity with the people, not the company per se.
So you related to Robert?
His actual name is Robert Titus, but he had to go by Kyle when he came to the area because Robert Titus was already here.
So the concept that they have already been working on out there in this presentation, that was with Cranston, or was that Kyle, or
I think Steve did that.
you did that in-house?
Did that in-house.
Okay, okay.
But the first step for the firm would be to validate the concepts, have a chance to look at that real close and make sure that's right.
Okay.
Yes, on when, that'll be completed, as you just did the first.
With it being a new alignment, we feel like we can really have a good, aggressive schedule, but the goal is to have it built in 2.5 years.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
Last item I have for you is I2B8, and that's Hereford Farm Road, Engineering and Design Services Phase 2. We're pretty much wrapping up the concept phase. The concept report's been submitted to Georgia DOT, and we're getting comments back from Georgia DOT, so we're ready to move into the database preparation for this 5.5 mile roadway. We negotiated the fee down to $495,018.81. It started off much higher than that, but some kudos to Mary Howard and GIS. We were able to use the aerial database information they have and save over about $125,000. Actually meets Georgia DOT specifications, the aerial LiDAR does. So hopefully we can continue to use that on other projects. So we are ready to move into that phase. This is just information only. We do have a guaranteed maximum price on this contract with AECOM, $0.5 million. So with this phase 2 service added to the phase 1, going to put us a little bit over $1 million, with about almost $1.5 million remaining in the PE contract to be able to finish up, which we expect us to be able to do that. So at this time, we're just asking for the commission to advise that we're prepared to send the notice to proceed out to AECOM. No action required.
Thank you very much.
Next item I have for you, sir, is a consideration for approve some equipment and installation in lieu of economic incentive money. As you're aware, Mullins Phase 2 is underway with a new belt coming. Well, you can see the second building going up out there, plans for a third building. They've been talking with staff, asking for support from the county in this project. Staff has met with them. We've discussed what they were doing. We've having to put a lot of pipe in, a lot of extra asphalt to put additional turn lanes in. We've actually had them adjust their driveway locations to help future expansion into a Brandon Wild area, if Brandon Wild ever wants to tie to that signal. It worked very well with staff, and in lieu of handing them money to help them pay for all this, staff is looking to provide them with the rhythm equipment to control our signals, so tie that signal to all the other signals in the county that we talked about earlier, as well as tie the fiber to that signal. It's our broadband line. We don't want anybody else touching our fiber, so we would rather do it ourselves anyway and tie that fiber to the new signal. If we were to do this, providing the material and installing the fiber would have cost about $51,000, $51,035.50. A lot of that is a hard cost of actually buying the material. Then we do have the cost of installing it, fiber to the cabinet. Their signal installer, B&E Electric, would actually install the equipment and the signal. We would hand it to them. What we're looking to do is hand them a refurbished set we have as a backup, order new equipment if approved. Signal functioning with the old equipment. When the new stuff comes in, we swap out. So have a brand new set of equipment and this brand new signal, have our backup in case we lose it. Staff is looking for guidance from the commission if you would like to buy this in lieu of economic development incentive. $1,035.50 cost of the county.
You said it was their dollars that we're going to be doing?
No, it's ours.
It's our
If I can add just something to that. This is a project that's been going on for some time. Mullins Phase 2 was actually approved by the commission several years ago to get a $600,000 economic incentive for the impact that they were going to make to that particular area with the amount of retail space. We did that based on what we thought the return would be, based on the sales tax dollars that would be added to our coffers. As a result of that, they came back to us again looking for a large incentive for that. Unfortunately, our economic incentive fund has been spent down. We've not reinvested in that particular program, but we did feel like that we were, I won't use the word obligated, but certainly we led them to believe that there was going to be some economic incentive on behalf of the county. But after looking at it, we came up with this. This was about the best that we could do at the point they are in their process, because they've already let a lot of the construction out there already, and they have a very aggressive schedule to get that Belks open. So staff felt like this $51,000 was a good investment for that particular project.
It will all be county-owned equipment. So even though we're buying it and handing it to their installer, it still is handed right back to us.
We're going to own it.
We're going to own every bit of this. We're not actually giving them anything.
Why do we have to?
They would have to pay for it on their own. If we didn't do that, they would have to pay for the upgrade to the signal and to the intersection and to everything else.
Move for consent.
Second.
So move.
Next we have for you is a beverage license for A&M Beverage Company. And I got Ms. Hall here. If I get this wrong, she can correct me. But A&M Beverage Company applied for their alcohol license out on Lewiston Road, the Kroger area. They received their license. The building was not built. Paul had a conversation with them about it. They decided they didn't want their license anymore. The license came back to us. There was some miscommunication when they had that conversation, and they said, oh, we didn't want to give it back. We do want our license. We are going to build. Reinstated the license. Our code says if you get a license and do not build within 180 days, your license goes away. They understand that. They've come back and reapplied for the exact same license we've already given them. However, it's going to cost them $2,500 for us to hand them back the same license we just took from them. They're asking that we waive that $2,500 fee. Staff's in agreement with that. Staff would recommend that we waive that $2,500 fee. They do have plans in-house now to build their store. They have a Southeastern, I guess, is building for them. Tie-ups there. They are actively applying for their permit. They're reviewing the plans as we speak. So staff's recommend that we waive that $2,500 fee.
Is 180 days realistic for them to be built and open?
I think so, yes, sir. So that in 180 days, we'll be back into the renewal process anyway, won't we, Aaron? We're right back to January 1 where they're applying for their next renewal. So.
Okay.
Move to consent.
So move.
Next item I have for you is the acceptance of performance bond, letter of credit, warranty deed, and engineering cost estimate for improvements of Tanner Oak, Section 2, Phase 3, Crawford Creek. Staff recommends acceptance of the performance bond, letter of credit, warranty deed, and engineering cost estimate. All documents, signed plats, will be released for recording once all staff reviews are complete.
I have a question on this, on these plans and all. I was called out to deal with the issue with the roll curbs out in the subdivision that has been done. This has happened multiple times in the last couple of months where a wheelchair is not able to, electric wheelchair is not able to get out into the street to check their mail or either the calls to get to the clubhouse or whatever. So with these roll curbs and driveways, that's something that we're going to be facing moving forward, or is there a way that these developers can do this, it still be accessible for these citizens to get to their mailboxes, back in their driveway?
So the developers use roll curb. They can tie driveways directly to it. Cars can traverse the rolled curb.
Sure.
Cost savings, and it makes a much better product in the end. You don't have cut curb everywhere. However, it is not ADA compliant. Actually, at staff level, we've already started talking about we're going to have to change our code, our specifications to make it where the curb they install is ADA compliant at the driveway, at the curb ramps, sidewalk. So we're very aware. We realize what's going on. We actually have a crew out right now, a bunch of they're interns working in GIS that are actually out right now surveying every sidewalk that we have in the county, looking at all ADA compliance issues. We're going to create that book, have a plan to move forward to fix all those problems. Staff will work on the new code, the new specifications to fix the problem. So yes, sir, we're very aware and we're making changes.
Definitely something we've identified.
Thank you.
Move for consent.
Second.
So moved.
Next one you have for your information is our Development Services Monthly Report. We're doing good. This is our year-to-date budget report for June of 2017, which is the same information I believe Ms. Reese provided to you, MIS. Next one I have for you, K2C. These are all the temporary alcoholic beverage permits that went through review by Mr. Scarberry and Mr. Johnson. Just for your information of what all past month.
First report I have for you is the plan review workload measurement. The review time, average review time is ticked down to 8 days. Notable. Summer usually it's slower around here, but staff has been able to lower that review time. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Second is the planning department workload measurement.
I think we skipped over you, Mr. Driver. Do you have any legal matters? All right. Any commissioner or public comments? I believe we have an executive session item.
Full board.
Second.
So moved. Hearing no other business.
One question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Matt, as part of your study on these ADA things, cutting out the roll curb at the driveway, because a lot of people do that anyway. Thank you.
Anything else? We're adjourned, 9/11. Pretty good. Hopping.